Now it's showing up. Device connected or not available. Well, that's wonderful. You're still not showing up, though. Say something again.
On the screen?
There you go. What the fuck? OBS? Okay, I guess we gotta fucking start over. Oh, I'm actually gonna have to edit this one instead of just sticking it up on YouTube.
And highly illogical indeed.
What the hell? I literally no changes. I opened it up and it said, I didn't bother to look because it wasn't like there was an update. It was nothing changed, but I clicked
these things happen.
I clicked on the audio and it just said, "Oh yeah, it's not there." What do you mean it's not there? I haven't changed anything. Oh, you know what it was? It was probably Twitch jacking with all the stuff. We had
the new tabs, yeah.
So it probably broke the something. I don't understand how Twitch changing something would change the settings in OBS though.
Oh no. I assume it's possible.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna be here. I would say it's extra long, but we've been talking for half an hour and nobody's heard anything. So Jonah wasn't even listening. So that's why he just opened up the stream to chat. He couldn't tell us that we were muted. Thanks a lot, Jonah. Okay. Anyway. Hello.
Okay, we could just we could just start from the first song.
Yeah. Well, I got to do the history real quick. I'll be quick.
Okay, go for it.
So Leonard Nimoy played Spock on Star Trek, 1966. Jewish American Ukrainian actor, born in 1931. He acted for his whole life. He worked a variety of jobs up until Star Trek, which is kind of when he had his breakout. Prior to that, he had about 50 small parts in B movies and television series. And from there, he went on to direct. He wrote autobiographies. He did music, yada, yada, yada. This album, Two Sides of Leonard Nimoy, was released in 1968, 1 year after his first album, Music from Outer Space, which was basically all about Spock. There's not much on this album, so here's just the description from Wikipedia, because that was all I could find. The album is a continuation of the Spock and space sound, which Nimoy embarked on his debut album. Side 1 showcases the side fans know as Mr. Spock, but in a softer light, along with his struggles of being human and Vulcan. Side 2 represents Nimoy's interest in a variety of songs, novelty, pop, country, and love songs. So basically, side 1 is Spock, side 2 is Nimoy, which gives us the two sides. And it works even better because it was a record, so he actually, he had the two sides. Now it's just a CD, and that doesn't have the same effect.
It's not a type of CD, it's just Spotify.
Yeah, that's true.
Even less of an effect.
So, to recap what was... we had a 20-minute conversation about cheese, and then a 20-minute conversation about the original
Frankly,
series.
It's probably a good thing that wasn't captured on.
Yeah, honestly. That really sucks, though. God, I can't believe OBS broke on us.
These things happen.
Yeah, and don't worry about it, Carmen. I should have saw that there was no audio showing up on the freaking filter, but I just didn't think to look because...
What if this becomes our most viewed episode? Turns out not talking is actually...
Yeah. I just wanted to watch those music notes jiggle on the screen. And then these two fuckers started talking. All right. Get back to track number 1, I guess, even though we were already partways through the album.
Track number 1, highly illogical. It's Spock, guys.
Yeah, the whole thing is he's Spock. There's not really much singing. It's half singing, half talking. And it's very hokey.
Very hokey, like 60s pop instrumental.
Yeah, which does not fit with his vocal line whatsoever. And everything's in the left ear. All right,
again,
track number 2.
Classic 60s mixing. The difference between us.
one of the first lines of the song is the pointed difference between us because Spock's ears. The point you get because Spock has got the pointed ears. Is it funny? You get it?
I get it.
This one is just spoken word poetry.
Yes.
It's
About
interesting.
his being a Vulcan.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's about it. Track number 3. Where we... God damn it, I'm so upset now. I guess, you think we'd... How many years have we been doing this now?
Like 3. Hey, look. Even experts make mistakes.
That's true. Track number 3, Once I Smiled. This is actual singing before going back into the spoken word again.
I don't like the way he says monkey pup. Who calls a baby monkey a monkey pup?
Why not? What else would you call it?
Baby monkey?
Yeah, that doesn't sound as... I don't know. It sounds less formal.
I guess. I don't know.
Because there's not really a name for that. Because, like a baby cow's called a calf. Or
That's
baby
true.
sheep's called a lamb. Or baby goat's called a kid. Baby monkey is...
I don't know. That's just... I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, they were very into that formal language back then, Just
That's
imagine, we're going to sound very stuffy in 50 years' time. Imagine how informal language will be by then.
It's lit, fam.
Yeah.
Hey, stop talking so old timer.
Okay, Grandpa, we get it. You're using your formal talk. But what I especially liked about this track was the fact that the harp, the flute, the choir, the finger cymbals are all in the left ear.
You liked that?
No, I didn't. That was sarcasm.
Hey, like I said, 60s mixing.
Yeah. I curse the Beach Boys every day.
Hey, don't blame the Beach Boys for this.
At least at 1:30, we get a little bit of balance. The French horn comes in on the right for about 15 seconds. But yeah, it's not. I will say it's not that bad. Because I had listened to this album before I suggested it, and I did not notice it while listening. So just don't sit down and write about this album, and you won't notice.
I don't think too many people are doing that, quite honestly.
Yeah. Jump into track number 4 if you're ready, Coop.
Yes, track number 4, Spock Thoughts, which I would say that's an apt description.
Yes. And the lyrics for this, I say lyrics very loosely, is just the prose poem Desiderata. Desiderata. By Max Ehrman. So it's really got nothing to do with Spock. And this one, I want to say it's slam poetry, but it's not slam poetry. It's just poetry.
Spoken word.
Yeah,
spoken word. It's nice. It's like just Papa Spock sits you down and give you life advice.
Yeah. There's a weird point at about 50 seconds where, of course, the music's only in the left ear, but there's the one instrument that's mixed like over the vocal line, and it sounds really off because the vocal line's extremely clear in the right, and then it gets like cut off in the left. It's just kind of odd.
I guess a little bit. I didn't notice that too much. I'm just drawn in by Spock telling me to be myself. This is basically him just kind of telling you to be a good person and stuff.
Yeah. That's, I mean, it's just, if you want to listen to the song but don't actually want to listen to it, you could just go read that poem, I guess.
I do like Leonard Nimoy's voice.
Yeah.
I think it serves well here.
Yeah, I think it makes the poetry actually serviceable. Moving on to track number 5.
Yes, track number 5, By Myself. This one's got a pretty nice kind of woodwind vibe thing going.
Yeah, it does. It's got better mixing and balancing the previous ones. Just nice singing. It's insane though. This is like a full orchestra. Can you imagine if you want to make some music in the 60s and you have to get how many people worked on this album?
I don't know. I mean, you couldn't just like load something into a computer. This
is like
why?
40 people.
I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of like studio orchestra that like is on hand. I'm not really.
You're probably right, and it probably wasn't too hard to access because this was 68 and he was Spock. So
he had the connections, but still, I imagine it took some effort.
Yeah, it's like, wow, it's crazy how hard it used to be to make music. Now any schmuck can do it with a computer.
Hey, it's much more accessible.
Yeah. And some of it comes out pretty good.
Yes.
Like Lil Nas X, right? He
or William Shatner.
No. I don't think he had any hand. I'm pretty sure that he just sat down in front of a microphone and that was all the contribution he made to that.
He didn't even know he was recording an album. He was just talking.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to talk about space. Hey, Leonard can release an album. I can release it. If he can direct a movie, I can direct a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can't, Shatner. No, you can't.
Well, he did.
He did. Wasn't very good. Everybody knows Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. Or no, is it Voyage Home? Anyway, Star Trek IV. It's the one with the whales. Everybody knows that one. Star Trek V, it's not really ever talked about. That was the Shatner one.
You just like media with whales in it.
Yeah, who doesn't like whales?
I do like whales.
They're great. Jumping to track number 6.
Track number 6, Follow Your Star.
This one was pretty bland.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this. It's just, I mean, nice violin work, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, like beyond that, it's just mostly kind of, just like Leonard Nimoy kind of singing a little bit over some kind of generic orchestral music.
Yeah. There's an odd part at 1:45 where the vocals come completely out of the left ear for some reason. Like he was shifting back and forth on his feet, but I don't think they were I don't think they were recording his vocal lines with two mics. So I don't know. That's all I got too. I never said this album was great. I just said we should do it. Jump to track number 7.
Yes, track number 7, Amphibious Assault. So this is a pretty interesting one. I don't even know how you describe it. I guess it's like a kind of a story.
Yeah, kind of like I think of it as it's almost like an excerpt from a book where the music and the sound effects in the background are elevating the story. I actually really like this one.
I actually do too.
The whole kind of thing is it's telling a story because, this was released in 68, 20 years removed from World War II, like kind of how is war going to change?
Would this have been during Vietnam or Korea? Which one was it?
Oh, shit, I don't know. War in 1968. It's probably Korea. No, it was Vietnam.
Hmm.
It was Vietnam.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, January in '68 was when the Vietnam War started. So yeah, that's pretty apt. Kind of a very pessimistic view of warfare, talking about how there's these all brass and staff just watching the lone fighter be sent in and killed, and then as soon as he's dead, they're just like, all right, let's get back to our party.
I think it works quite well in terms of dramatic. It's very what's the word? Diegetic music.
Yeah.
Right.
I wish it was all mono except for the one part with the soldier running from left to right. And maybe the party. The party not being mono works too. But if you're going to listen to anything on this album, I'd listen to this one just because it's an interesting story. Well, you want to talk about some good music, we can move to track number 8.
Jeez, track number 8. The Ballad of Bilbo Baggins.
The only Leonard Nimoy song to get a music video.
And yes, that Bilbo Baggins.
Yes, sir. This has got some really heavy bassoon.
Yeah, they are not. They are not. What's the word? Shy about bassoon use here.
Or is it? No, oboe's higher. Yeah, it's
whatever that instrument is, they use it.
I think it's a bassoon. Yeah, kind of. I don't know. It might almost be too deep. Maybe it's a bass bassoon. Because bassoons are usually a little bit higher pitched because they've got a very tiny reed.
I suppose I'm not really familiar enough to.
It's about the size of your fingernail. So you can produce a deep sound with it, but it's not that deep. This might be a bass bassoon. Because it gets down there.
What really matters is that he's singing about the Hobbit.
Yeah. It's kind of got some funk bass almost in there too.
Yeah, it's a very, I guess, kind of tinny pop, like 60s tribute. It's kind of folksy too.
Yeah. Got some weird harpsichord synth in there around the
some heavy use of the harpsichord. And some like backing female vocals.
Those are children.
Are they?
Yeah, you'd know from watching the music video.
I thought those were women.
No, it's children.
Huh.
The music video is him standing on a hillside with a bunch of kids. That's the whole music video. Is basically just them standing there singing.
I'm guessing it's they're their hobbits.
I'll be honest, I don't remember what they're dressed as. That would make sense. But yeah, it's a fun song. Sections of it are weirdly crisp, though. I don't know if you picked up on this. Like, most of it sounds like mashed potatoes, but every once in a while, we'll just get this really crisp drum hit that sounds like it's out of a modern digital song.
He does time travel in some of the Star Trek movies.
Yeah, it's just very jarring, because his vocal going between Amphibious Assault and this one, it's a very... You can hear the analog mic is not as high a quality as the previous track.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny song. It's not a good song.
Oh, don't tell me that bassoon work isn't good.
I mean, it's fine, but I wouldn't say it's enjoyable.
Oh, this is a great song. I love it. There's a reason I play it all the time for us in the Discord.
I thought that was as a joke.
No, I truly enjoyed this song.
I can't say I share that sentiment.
Then again, I've always had an eclectic taste in music.
I mean, okay, there's eclectic, and then there's listening to the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins.
Hey, at least there was no song on that Gentleman Rap album that we listened to. You remember that one?
I remember.
There was none of that I was like, oh man, I love this song. I'm so into this one.
But that you wanted there to be.
No, I think this is just. I wouldn't say I love it. I'd say it's very fun and it's enjoyable to listen to.
I just think it's neat.
I just think it's neat. Jumping to track number 9.
Track number 9.
Cotton Candy.
Cotton Candy. Parentheses on a summer day.
Yeah. A lot of woodwinds. And
Yes.
really fun guitar filter.
Actually quite like the guitar on this one.
Yeah.
And the vocals almost sound like actual, like, normal singing.
Yes.
I guess it's like it's gonna. I guess because it's like the dual vocal effect.
Yeah, that really helps. I think that elevates the song from what I think it would have been boring without it. It's very slow and dreamy. It really kind of evokes that feeling of a very hot, muggy summer day, and you're just kind of sluggishly moving around.
This song's actually kind of a vibe at points.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Jump into track number 10 if you're ready.
Track number 10, Gentle on My Mind. Which is kind of the country song.
Yeah. Odd country piece with sections you want to rhyme that don't end up rhyming. And this song actually was written and originally recorded by John Hartford. And
So
released on his second studio album, Earth, Words, and Music, in 1967, 1 year prior to this. However, it reached popularity with Glenn Campbell, peaking at number 44 on Billboard's Hot Country Singles and number 39 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 8 on the Easy Listening chart. So this is the third cover a year after it came out, and it blew my mind because there's several other songs on this album like that where it was a song that was made, and then a year later, or not even a year later, somebody would do a cover of it and go super popular.
I've seen that quite often in like the 60s and like the 70s. Yeah. Actually, isn't like I've seen that quite often in many of the reviews we've done. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure what that signifies because I don't think that happens as much nowadays.
No, but can you imagine if it did? Like Taylor Swift released a song and it was just like, all right. And then Rihanna did a cover like 6 months later and it blew up.
See, yeah, that'd be odd. But I guess maybe nowadays, since music's a lot more accessible, that's less likely to happen.
Well, also we have Metallica to thank because with them trying to kill Napster, copyright laws got a lot more strict.
Thanks, Metallica.
Thanks, Metallica. Fuck you. You know they did a concert on Twitch and they couldn't even play the music
because
the copyright laws that they helped fight for.
That's funny.
You get fucked.
But back on the song, actually, Nimoy's twang on this one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like it. There's a couple of spots where there's some weird vocal twinges to get that kind of country style sound. But yeah, it's enjoyable. It's the good country. It's old country, not new.
Yeah, this very classic country.
Yes. I am very much an enjoyer of classic country. Because it's very close to folk in that kind of way. You know, you got your Johnny Cash, that kind of stuff. Can you even name a modern country singer?
Philip Phillips.
Who?
Doesn't he sing country?
Who?
Philip Phillips.
Never heard of him.
Shania
Twain, does she do country?
I don't know.
Dolly Parton.
Oh, Dolly. Well, she's pretty old school though.
Yeah, she is.
Like that'd be like saying, Paul McCartney's like modern rock and roll star. It's like, oh, okay, yeah.
I think you can still get away with calling Beatles rock and roll.
I mean, it is rock.
Yeah.
At least some of it is.
Octopus's Garden is a hard rock track, Cooper.
Yeah. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds is just rocking.
Diamonds. It's yeah. Yeah. This is a fun track. Moving on to 11, if you're ready.
Yes, track number 11, Miranda, which is another one of those kind of mellow orchestral tracks, I suppose.
Yeah. Fun fact, this one was written by the same man who wrote Fly Me to the Moon.
Oh, that is surprising.
I didn't put his name down, even though I had the whole giant thing in the last track about the weird order of getting a song popular. But yeah, this is written by a famous person. The back half of this is kind of more folk songs, kind of songs. I feel like the trend at the time was you like the song and then you make your own cover of it. That's kind of how it worked.
Huh. I mean, this one's fine.
Yeah.
There's a couple kind of boring ones in this album where it's like, okay.
I was more into the lyrics of this one. Also, at 1:15ish, we get they forgot to cut the mic, and we get Leonard Nimoy clearing his throat. Top quality production.
Hey, look, he was pumping these albums out back then.
Can we at least listen to it first and see how? No time. We got to get this out the door now. You got to do 3 more of these in just as many years.
This Star Trek thing is clearly a phase. We gotta strike when the iron's hot.
But going on the lyrics of this one, can you imagine if somebody was late to meeting you and you just left for like 3 years? I'd be pretty pissed.
Hey, well, that's why his ship sailed in.
Well, but the last line is, "I'll never ask where she was that day." It's like, well, maybe she was taking a shit. Like, did your boat have a schedule? It probably was just like, "I'll be coming back sometime around this." What if she's just on the toilet and she hears the horn and she's like, "Oh, God damn it. Like, I just sat down." He didn't wait on the shore very long. She wasn't there.
They didn't have phones back then. You didn't see someone. You're just like, oh, I guess they're just gone forever.
Yeah. It's like, just at least maybe go into town, stay a day, and just turn around immediately when she wasn't standing on the shore. Very self-absorbed, I thought.
Hey, well, this was a cover. This doesn't represent.
Yeah. Jumping to track number 12.
Track number 12. That would be If I Were a Carpenter.
Yeah. Which, one of the first lines is, "If you were a lady," very progressive for the era.
Well, Star Trek was all about it being rather progressive, right?
Yeah. But he didn't write this. Again, this is a cover of a folk song from the 60s.
That's true.
So, I don't think they meant it in the way that I read it or I heard it.
I don't think they're that progressive.
No.
I mean, just from the first episode of Star Trek that I watched, I got the feeling that Gene Roddenberry is not very good at writing women or interactions with women.
Famously quite sexist.
Yeah, I kind of got that sense because these interactions are pretty talking down, I would say.
Yeah, the women of Star Trek didn't exactly have a lot of speaking roles.
Of course, my in the pilot episode, the unnamed pilot episode, I do like the part where the captain goes, "You know, I don't want women on my bridge." It's like, bro, this is like 300 years in the future.
Yeah.
Can't even let women on the bridge?
Wait,
that is sexist as heck. You're gonna get written up, bro.
Yeah. It's like I said, Next Generation solves a lot of the issues that original Trek had. Women are featured a little bit more prominently. There's also the fun effect where if you look at some of the original series, it'll show, we'll say Bones is laying in medbay, and he'll be all dirty. You can see every crease in his face and pores, and then it'll cut to the doctor, and the camera will be very out of focus, and there'll be kind of a soft glow around her. It's like, oh, okay, why are you doing that weird style switch just because you're filming a lady?
Because ladies have to be pretty, Sam. It was the 60s. That's all Gene Roddenberry knew.
No. But Getting back to If I Were a Carpenter, it's got some very airy synth.
It's and also maybe I wasn't paying that much attention to the lyrics. It's also, I guess, it's literally about being a carpenter.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to imagine he was singing this to like to his buddy in the pub. If you were a lady, but I don't think that was what they were going for.
Like I said, very ahead of its time.
Yeah. I think it had different connotations than what I was picking up. Can you imagine that though? You're sitting with your buddy in the pub drinking, and he just turns to you and says, "If you were a lady, would you have my baby?"
Like, is this a hypothetical or? Where are you going with this, Leonard? just asking.
Just an honest question.
It's only weird if you make it weird.
Jumping to track number 13.
Track number 13, and the final track on the album, I might add. Love of the Common People.
This one's an actual proper song. The first proper song I'd say we had on the album.
Proper in what sense?
It sounds like a fully fleshed out, you might hear this on the radio at the time track.
I guess. Is it weird that kind of makes it like my least favorite?
Really, I actually quite enjoyed this one.
Oh, I mean, Leonard's strengths aren't in singing songwriting, right? Even if this is a cover.
It is a cover. It was originally written and recorded in 1966.
So it kind of lacks some of the charm of some of the other songs. Even the other cover songs, I'd say.
I think I just really like the hook.
No, where it's just common people.
Yeah, it's got a good sound to it. There's
I disagree.
In the vocal line. There's a lot going on in the instrumental line.
I will say I like that weirdly energetic, oh yeah, at the very end. That made me chuckle.
I don't know. This was just another fun one. I was like, oh yeah, this feels like a pop song of the day, you know.
I guess, but that's not what I don't think that's where his strengths lie.
I liked it. Everybody's different.
That's true.
It's okay to be wrong.
Oh, that's very. Well, I'm glad you had some self-reflection there, Sam.
I don't appreciate you projecting your insecurities onto me, but moving on.
Nice. Hey, that's a spot doc right there.
That's the end of the album.
It is?
We've been going on for quite some time because the first half an hour was fucking muted. So, Cooper, what would you say your least favorite track on this album was?
Well, like I just said, I didn't really care for Love of the Common People. The song, not the...
You're very high and mighty there, Cooper.
No, I just, like I said, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of generic 60s, like, pop, and Leonard's vocals aren't the best on that. I mean, it's not like he's a super impressive technical singer anyways. But I don't know, it just doesn't do anything for me. What about you, Sam?
I have to say Follow Your Star. Just because of how bland it was. Just kind of boring. Which, I mean, I love it or hate it. Common People's at least interesting. Follow Your Star is like, whatever.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Some of the, I guess the orchestral, like, instrumentation was fine, but...
No. Follow Your Star, there was just nothing there. Very, very bland. What about your favorite? What's your favorite track?
My favorite track? I actually quite like Gentle on My Mind. I wasn't expecting when you say Leonard Nimoy sings a country song. That doesn't really sound appealing to me, but it actually kind of works. And I also like Spot Thoughts or Spot Thoughts. I can't say it. Spot Thoughts. It's kind of a tongue twister. I don't know, just maybe it's a little cheesy, but him just like being like, be good to yourself and good to others. It's just like put that on while you're sleeping and kind of get like good vibes going, you know?
You are a winner.
Everybody loves you. You did not fall down in the middle of class in 5th grade and spill spaghetti sauce over yourself. People called you Spaghetti Boy for the rest of the school year. That did not happen.
You did not get made fun of when you tried to lick the rest of the spaghetti sauce off your shirt because you were a child.
You do not cry at every Olive Garden you've ever been in since that moment happened. Well, what about you, Sam? What's your favorite song?
I do really enjoy the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins, I'll be honest.
I
really like that song.
Now, how much of it is because it's about Bilbo Baggins?
Not much, honestly. It's just, I think it's the bassoon. I just really like that bassoon. But Amphibious Assault, I really enjoy that one too, just for the kind of artistry storytelling. Not so much as a song, because it's not really a song. It's more of a
experience.
It's more of a excerpt from a book with sound effects. But it's if you're going to listen to anything off this album, I'd say that one.
I quite like that song too.
Even if there's no singing.
Yes.
All right, now we got to rate the album, Cooper.
I think we do. We're here at the end. You got to rate it.
No. Gotta tie things up with a bow.
In that case, Sam, what would it... Oh, I guess you have to explain the rating system first. I almost got ahead of myself.
Don't do that. Am I doing it this week?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So here at Audio Shop, we have a 1 to 5 rating system, much like the first 5 seasons of Star Trek. This is actually a Star Trek themed podcast. Oddly, it's the first time it's come up, but the whole 9 yards we've done leading up to this point has been to set up and announce that this is a Star Trek podcast. So we've got Showroom, which is cream of the crop, top of the top. That's kind of like your bridge, right? You want to be on the bridge of the Enterprise. And then we've got Scrapyard, which is like working in a transporter room, which could be fun, but you're kind of just standing alone the whole time. And then everything in between. So Cooper, what would you say your rating for this album is?
This is a hard one, right? Because it's a novelty album from a guy who's not traditionally known as being a musical artist. I would not say that Leonard Nimoy's, the first thing you think of when you think of him is, oh yeah, the guy who made the albums, right? And it does border, some of the songs are like straight up novelty, and some of them are kind of border on it. A lot of spoken word, but it's not bad. It's not terrible. There's definitely points I found enjoyable. I don't think I'll ever come back to this album, but I also don't regret listening to it, right?
Well, I'll say you will come back to this album because I'm sure I'll play Ballad of Bilbo Baggins in Discord.
Okay, I will not willingly come back to this album, but at the same time, I don't I don't regret my time with it. So I think I'm gonna have to get pretty middle of the road with a fixer-upper here. I think it's worth checking out just for the sheer novelty of it, and being like, oh, okay, this could have been a lot worse. This could have been a William Shatner album.
This could have been the hour-long William Shatner. And listen to 5 minutes of him speaking with Bill Paxton playing, one of the worst current country artists in existence.
Well, what about you, Sam? How would you rate this album?
I also would give it a fixer-upper. When I initially listened to this album, I didn't intend on coming back to it, but then we, aside from maybe Amphibious Assault, if we hadn't listened to this, I probably would have recommended that to you, Cooper, just for you to listen to. But yeah, it's interesting. It was interesting enough to keep me listening all the way through, and it's short too.
Yeah, it doesn't overstay its welcome. Each song is like in and out very fast.
Yeah, there's 13 tracks on a 30-minute album. You're not gonna. None of the individual songs are gonna start wearing on your nerves. They're all over and done with quite quickly. So yeah, that's what I think. I would give it a listen. Why not? It's quick. It's interesting. It'll keep you entertained. If you like Star Trek, definitely listen to it. You're gonna roll your eyes a lot, but it's a fun time. Well, that's the podcast. Now we're going to roll on over to the spare tire, which is just whatever else we've been listening to. And it's been quite some time, Cooper, since we've done a podcast.
It's true. It's true.
I actually listened to quite a lot in that time. Like I said,
wow.
Kind of musical renaissance. Why don't you go first before I launch into everything I did?
Oh, well, honestly, I haven't listened to, I guess, too much new stuff, just with moving and everything and just busyness. I've been mostly staying with some, old playlists, some old classics, but in terms of new album experiences, I haven't been listening too much. I guess some more of the Bob Marley and the Wailers, some Stereo Lab, some Remy Wolf. Listened to a pretty interesting Sheena Ringo album that I thought was quite interesting. But not as much as you'd expect, given the kind of long period between our two things. Just life's been so busy,
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Sam? What have you been listening to?
I listened to 3 new albums in the time that we've been away.
Oh,
which is impressive since usually it's just ELO. So the first one I listened to was "Beam Me Up" by Mystery Skulls, his latest album, released in 2022.
Had to stick with the Star Trek theme.
No, that was before I listened to that one. Before I listened to Two Sides of Leonard Nimoy.
Okay.
I wasn't a fan, honestly. He kind of went. He originally has his original style. We did. Oh crap! I can't even remember the name of the album we did before. I don't remember, but we did one of his albums, the one I really like. But his latest one, he kind of went the Weeknd route with it. Very falsetto vocals. Not really the style that I fell in love with him doing originally.
Right.
He kind of just became a copy of the Weeknd. Which I don't know. There wasn't really anything that stuck out to me on the album, sadly. I gave the later YMO albums another chance. Still don't like them. So
sure, they can be a little weirder.
Yeah.
I think the earlier stuff's a little more accessible.
Yeah. So I went back to listening to the early stuff and Traveling Wilburys and ELO. Then I listened to the Two Sides of Leonard Nimoy before I knew that we were going to be doing that. I wrote interesting to say the least. A lot of it is more poetry and soundscapes than music. The Ballad of Bilbo Baggins slaps, though.
I'm glad to know you're at least consistent with yourself.
And then I listened to a couple of non-new albums. I listened to Dark Side of the Moon and Armchair Theater by Pink Floyd and Jeff Lynne, respectively. And then I listened to On Guitar by Masayoshi Takanaka, which is a Japanese jazz fusion album. Holy shit. This is going to be this is going to be one of my favorites. There's one of his tracks that was, when I go through my Spotify exploration, it recommends me a lot of Japanese jazz fusions, and I listen to a lot of that. And so I had one of his tracks on there, so I tracked down the album that it was off of, and the first half is just non-stop hits. It is fantastic. Second half is not as good in my opinion. It's weaker, but man, that was a good album. So that I'm going to be listening to quite a few of those tracks.
Well, maybe I'll have to give it a listen if you're giving it such high praise.
Yeah, it's the first half of it is exactly what I look for I call it jazz. It's not quite jazz.
It's fusion.
It's fusion, but that's what I like. I like the more higher energy, that kind of stuff. I don't think of the who's the famous trumpeter? Louis Armstrong. I don't think of Louis Armstrong jazz, like that kind of slow trumpet with there's no snare hits, it's just the brush. There's a time and the place for that, but I like the kind of upbeat, high pace, Larry Carlton. I've forgotten the name of the other band I listen to a lot. But that kind of stuff, that kind of fusion style. And right up my lane. So I'll send you the link to that. I think you'll like the first half. It's very good album.
Shoot me up. I'd like to give it a listen.
So I'm here at work. I'm doing a lot of stuff where I put my headphones in. So I'm going to see if I can find some of his other albums to listen to as well. See if they're as good. And the cover art of it as well is just projects such poise. It's just him standing in front of a whiteboard, a chalkboard filled with music. And he's got one hand in his pocket and he's holding the chalk, and he's, very old school, large glasses. And it just says on guitar. And it's like, man, what a power play.
Man's schooling you just by listening to it.
Yeah. It's, that's not what I typed, Google. Anyway, that's the podcast. If you liked what you heard and you would like to hear some more, you can scroll down on our Twitch page. That'll take you to the picture of Jeff Lynne. He's got the curly hair and the aviators on. That takes you to YouTube, where all the past episodes, minus the one Supertramp episode, are. And where this one will be after I have to do my first editing ever, because the first half an hour is just silent. So this will be the first edited episode ever. And if you're listening on YouTube and you want to hear live, you can go to the Twitch. It's in the description. We're live usually Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern. We should be a bit more consistent now that Cooper's not moving.
That's true.
And what about Twitter, Cooper?
Well, you can follow us at Audio Shop Pod. That's POD on Twitter. We'll let you know what we're going to be listening to and when we'll be listening to it. Like Sam said, hopefully we're a little more consistent in these upcoming weeks. Now that everything's cooled down a bit, but if we're not, you'll be able to know, because we'll let you know when we're listening to it each week.
If Cooper remembers to put it on Twitter.
Hey, look, it's busy time.
Yeah.
And if Sam remembers to turn the audio on.
Listen, that was not my fault. I had no changes had been made. It was all on Twitch's end.
Okay.
Also, I just pulled up that album cover to show you. There's also a picture of him playing a surfboard that he made into a guitar.
Classy.
So this dude is...
Man, smooth.
This is a smooth man. And looking at some of the later images from more current, dude has aged like a fine wine. He's actually gotten hotter as he's gotten older. So
powerful man.
Yeah, I now have to. I need to listen to the rest of his albums because he looks so cool. All right. Anyway, thank you all for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.
See ya.